Hey everybody, Brian Good here. I'm going to switch topic today to the earliest alerts, see how this trends with the potential for any flooding, and we'll get back to snow talk once we get something to track. I mean, there's nothing really of interest or even worth talking about in a lot of detail. So I don't want that to bog down the discussion because flooding is going to be an issue if the pattern continues to evolve the way it is looking, and this will be even beyond February. So lots to monitor here. First off, let's start on a much more lovely subject. Talking about Valentine's Day. There's the weather history for Valentine's Day. You know, last year wasn't too bad, 57 degrees, a little bit cloudy. But we've had snow 3 years in a row. The 2016 one, we had 3 inches of snow. Some of you picked up a lot more than that, especially the south of Louisville. 2015, we had snow, and 2014, we had about 2 to 3 inches of snow on the ground then, with a high of about 40. And then some sunshine back on the 2013 at 58 degrees at that point. So more often than not, it has been cold and snowy. This year, we'll balance the streak out the way it's looking with rain and temperatures in the 50s. We'll see how it plays out. Let's talk about the setup now. Clouds have been increasing this morning. Satellite image this morning didn't really capture a lot of it. We had to go by observations really to see a lot of this, but it is developing to our south and is working its way to the north. It's going to filter out at times and become thin, and at times become overcast. It'll be back and forth. So this will be a balancing act, or peekaboo sunshine as I call it, for the rest of the day. A water view shows how there's much more of this getting its act together, and some of this actually has been reaching the ground in Missouri. Sleet has been reported. This initial surge, for us, it's going to be sprinkles if it can maintain itself into the overnight. But in general, we're talking about a dry forecast today, guys, and temperatures getting above normal. How far above we go? Normal is 47. How far above we go will determine how much of the peekaboo sunshine we have to endure. Obviously, the more sun breaks we get, better chances will be. All right, so let's skip ahead. And there's an overall theme I want you guys to get from this series of maps you're about to see. Here's the temperature line, the white line, 32 degrees, the freezing line right here at the ground. The blue line way up here is the typical rain-snow line above us. And they're not always overlapped. Got to keep that in mind as you watch these maps evolve. So let's start with Valentine's Day. We start off with showers early in the day. They should become more spotty as we get the afternoon, evening, and even overnight. And I think this is when the wind is going to ramp up. So I think Wednesday night into Thursday morning, we're going to see temperatures hold steady for much of the overnight and then rise a few degrees near sunrise. And that's going to put us very close to 60, a couple degrees either side of 60 degrees when we wake up Thursday morning. That'll be nice. Then we see what happens as the next front begins to evolve on Thursday. There should be a period of rain that will become more focused mainly to the north of us. It's showing scattered showers here. Can't rule them out during the day on Thursday, but I think it's going to be just to our north. A more focused band of heavier rain will then develop, which will take us into the overnight hours of Thursday night into Friday. We've got to watch this band as it drops into the area because that can put down a good 1 to 2 inches, if not more, of rainfall, depending on how quickly it does move to the south. Now, as this is moving to the south, keep in mind the rain-snow line. Notice it is ahead of the 32-degree line at the ground level. So what it indicates is there's a changeover, at least to some wintry weather, frozen precipitation, but the ground temps lag behind on that. So anything that would fall will likely melt. So keep that in mind as you watch this. Because as we head into Friday afternoon, temperatures do drop because certainly we get the rain-snow line, the colder air to work its way in aloft. But the 32-degree line just kind of hangs out way to the north there. So this looks to be just a iffy scenario on whether or not we can get snowflakes generated. And then if we can, do they melt before they hit the ground? Or will we see them reach all the way to the ground level, then melt when they hit the ground? Which I think is a more likely scenario. That's why it's not a headline issue for Snow Talk or anything right now. Because signs are still there. This is going to be a situation where it's going to get colder aloft, but not so much to the ground. Okay, so here's the problem. Saturday into Sunday, we're seeing signs that this front is going to stall in Tennessee, and then a couple areas of low pressure waves of it will track along this, and they'll try to yank this front back to the north again. That may happen on Saturday, especially for our southern counties of Kentucky. Notice the cold air being trapped in the Appalachians. The east may provide for snow there, not for us, but snow there. So we'll see how that plays out. That may have to cause some adjustments on Saturday's forecast. And then another wave begins to approach Sunday morning, and then Sunday afternoon pulls it way to the north. Now, it will be a warmer day, much warmer, in fact, a 10-degree jump. But the rain chance may skyrocket again, even on Sunday. Maybe some thunder, too. And we're not done. We're going to see a couple of waves kind of track along this. So the potential for rain will continue Monday into Tuesday, maybe some thunder. It'll be windy, but it will be warm. And we'll finally see some changes come into play, at least from the 21st and 22nd as we try to suppress it again, but it may come back shortly after this, and then we're at it again. So over the next 10 days, the models are looking at potential rainfall totals, and they are getting to the point where they're indicating that more than a half a foot of rain is going to be possible. Where that sets up shop will determine how these waves and the fronts all line up, and we don't know that for sure. We know they're going to be in our general vicinity of the Ohio Valley. But how they evolve within wave country is what we got to figure out. And right now we're getting support just as much for the south of the parkways as we are in Indiana. So stay tuned as we monitor this, because certainly it's going to be a factor on the rivers. Now, looking at the Ohio now, the Ohio isn't bad. I mean, it does show a slight increase, but we'll see how much rain we pick up in the coming days and see how that alters the Ohio. Again, the big rivers like the Ohio react slower to rainfall. It's a delayed reaction. It's a smaller streams. We need to watch the creeks, Rolling Fork, Salt River. We got to watch that for maybe some rapid rises in water. But this will carry into March. Let's hope this doesn't too long into March, because then you start to affect Derby stuff as far as the, of course, Thunder over Louisville, the amount of viewing you have at the Great Lawn. Remember in 2011, it was mostly underwater, muddy. Ugh, that was nasty. And then, of course, this Great Steamboat Race was affected too by high water. So we'll see if this is a trend that will lock in for a while or not. It's certainly the opposite of what a lot of the indications were about us getting colder. When you look at the potential for warmth down the road, the models still indicate we're looking at a warmer East Coast pattern as we head all the way through the end of this month, and colder west. And they still indicate, this is the new Euro long term, indicates a wetter than normal pattern right over us in the Ohio Valley. Pretty much where we saw that rain being focused on the models there as well. So it's something we have to watch here. Severe weather, it's a possibility, because even as we get into March, it's not as strong of a signal, but still showing us above normal. And looking at the severe weather analysis, this is from the CFS board, as we head into March, I mean, it gets a little noisier. We're starting to get more signals, as you normally would in March anyway, but we'll have to see how this plays out. We could get into more of an active scene on thunderstorm potential, but I think the heavy rain is going to be our initial threat, and we'll take it a step at a time. Are we done with snow? No, I highly doubt it. Just because we're talking about warmer setups here and heavy rainfall, it actually puts us more at risk for winter storms, bigger ones they can form. But you will not see those far out on models at all. Those are going to be very short range deals that will show up. So we'll just have to take that slowly. All right, that's it for today, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you on midday.